Arzhang Davoodi is an Iranian political activist, teacher, poet, writer, and very intelligent. Arzhang studied at Texas A&M University and had a pretty good life overseas, but his huge desire for freedom and democracy, as well as fighting against the mullah's regime, encouraged him to return back to Iran eventually. Since Arzhang himself experienced freedom and democracy overseas, he always desired the same things for the Iranians as well. Arzhang and Fakhravar have known each other since 2001. At around the same time, these two political activists established the independent Iranian student movement, which is part of the Iranian freedom movement. Since Fakhravar trusted Ahmad Batebi by heart, he introduced him to Arzhang as well. These three activists, as the founders of the independent Iranian student and freedom movements, signed the contract of their partnership. Near Tehran Villa, Arzhang established a 3-story school named Paratohechman, which was also a secret gathering place for the other Iranian political activists. Arzhang always used to help the poor and suffered so much for witnessing how abundant Iran could be, but the mullahs have plundered pretty much everything. In February 2003, Arzhang and Fakhravar had a short trip to Iraq in order to participate in the National Iraqi Congress, only 20 days before the US attack in Iraq. When Fakhravar was imprisoned and Arzhang hadn't been arrested yet, the two of them had a pretty good collaboration for the production of a documentary called Forbidden Iran. It was in this movie that Arzhang appeared for the first time in front of the camera next to Jane Cocan, a Canadian journalist who had a short visit to Iran. Shortly after the release of this movie, Arzhang was recognized by the IRGC and finally got arrested through Ahmad Batebi's betrayal. After the release of this documentary, Arzhang realized that the IRGC is planning to arrest him, so he decided to collect all of his documents, letters, computer cases, statements, manifests, and his personal belongings from the school and put them all in his car and decided to leave the country. Arzhang arrived somewhere near Zanjan, but through Batebi's betrayal and his collaboration with the IRGC, he returned back to Tehran and eventually was trapped and arrested. This has happened in 2003. It's been 17 years since Arzhang's been in prison under severe torture with no right to visit his family, having a lawyer, or even a break. Arzhang has been imprisoned in Zabul and his both legs broke under the torture. Unfortunately, he can barely walk down the prison's corridors with a walker. Arzhang had been sent to many different prisons around Iran such as Bandar Abbas, Rajai Shah and so on, although he used to live in Tehran. In 2014, Arzhang was issued a death sentence for writing statements with a conclusion like, "I'm a victim of the Supreme Leader's brutality." Arzhang was supported by many international human rights organizations during his imprisonment such as Human Rights Watch, US Department of State, Amnesty International, and PEN International. It's so sad to see that the Iranian oppositions overseas never talk about Arzhang under any circumstances, only because he was the founder of the Iranian freedom movement and the National Iranian Congress. Is the Iranian political opposition jealous or afraid of the Islamic regime in Iran? At the moment, Arzhang is the Attorney General of the National Iranian Congress. At the end, we all hope that one day Arzhang will be able to live a life that he deserves.